I feel like okay. You know how if a United States citizen signs up as a soldier, if they enlist, they lose certain legal rights? It's like how for a court martial, like you don't have the same set of legal rights you do as a citizen. When you're a soldier, like you're giving up some stuff, you know? I think that if you're an elected official, you should give up some stuff. And some of those should be First Amendment rights. I believe that. I think that if you're a public official and you make claims that are insurrectionist or like broadly delegitimizing of the democracy that you're in, I think that you should have to you nut up or shut up. You should have to prove that in a court case. I think that should be I think that that should be settled in criminal court, fair court with a fair trial. And if you lose, you have to shut the fuck up about it. Otherwise, it'd be treated kind of the way that like defamation or libel would. If it's determined that you're like acting in bad faith with these claims, then you'd be acting with grievance, and you could be, you know, further prosecuted for it. Are there ways this could be abused? Yes. If I had more time and also some lawyers next to me, could I think of more caveats or specificities, you know, to levy here? Yes, absolutely. But keep in mind that a lot of what Republicans have done already meets the definition of sedition in a legal sense. So it's not as though they aren't already constantly tripping over the boundaries of the law. We just don't really have a response to this. Like, what do you do if political officials and elected leaders just use their power to lie broadly and basically just openly subvert the democracy? We don't really have anything. Again, a lot of our system just relies on gentlemen's agreements. A lot of our system just relies on the assumption that everybody operating within it will be acting in good faith. But if people are willing to openly act in bad faith, then that just no longer applies. And you need to have like backups, because otherwise whoever is the most bad faith first wins. And that seems like a pretty fucking bad democracy. Like basically the claim would be you're defaming the process, right? So like you can if you're found to be maliciously lying about somebody in a way that causes damages, you can be sued for libel or for defamation. And that's a good thing. You know, free speech isn't of much value if there is complete legal equality between things that are untrue and harmful and things that are true and beneficial. I mean, obviously that's not like the point, right? The point should be the prioritization of good, helpful speech. Otherwise, like, why would we even care about free speech at all? Now, this wouldn't be like if anyone says anything bad about the government, you could be, no, nothing like that. If you're an elected official or former elected official, and you're saying stuff that's provably wrong, you can be brought to trial for it. And if it's shown that you're wrong about it, you have to shut the fuck up. That way, even if you're doing your little white lie bullshit as part of your campaigning, like you, until you're called out in it, you don't have to shut the fuck up, you know? And then after that, you would be held to a higher standard of scrutiny. Yeah, I don't know. Again, like I'm spitballing here, but like we're kind of up against the looking glass right here, you know? Like what the fuck are we gonna do? We can't just let shit like this happen. We can't just let democracy die because fat bloviating billionaires are willing to lie about it and they have enough backing in like corporate media to get away with it. Like we can't just let good things die because we're too unwilling to attempt some kind of reformist approach to defense, you know? It's like your city's being attacked by fucking orcs and you need wood for shields, but you have like some 87-year-old law about which sections of the forest can or cannot be harvested for lumber. And you're like, well, yeah, like we could harvest that wood, but you know, like it's like, no, I don't know. Priorities, right? Priorities. Reality has nothing to do with the perception and thoughts of a Trump supporter. There's no relationship between these things. He could say anything. Donald Trump could stand there and just say, Joe Biden has killed more Jews than Adolf Hitler could have ever dreamed of. And they would cheer and they would agree with him. They would believe that. And then the conservatives across social media, all of the pundits and politicians and grifters would come out and talk about how that's actually true. And they would just start saying it's true. Yeah, that's it. Completely and fully. And that's why I've said again, you know, it's not enough just to beat these guys at the polling booth. They simply must not exist politically. There should be no room in American elections, no room in our political body for us to coexist with ideologies such as these. Democracy does not need to tolerate anti-democratic candidacy. You know, the people, the Republican people, they'll be better for it. It's not like they benefit from any of this shit. It's not like their lives are being made better. White supremacy has never been about elevating the white man. It's been about bringing down everyone else. Transphobia doesn't elevate cis people. It just brings down trans people. Nativism and xenophobia doesn't bring up native residents. It brings down immigrants. You know, they're not benefiting from this. They're being hurt by it. They cheer as they hear that their land will continue to be raped by fracking, chemicals poured into their water, and they boo when they hear about investment in green energy. It is for their betterment. Free speech is not truly free when it is drowned out in white noise, and nonsensical anti-truth. No, there should be no place for this at all. I've said this before, but the big difference I've noticed in Trump supporters over the past 3.5 years of doing this is that back when I first started streaming, I felt like I could argue with Trump supporters who had an earnest belief in the wrong things they believed, and you could talk about it with them. They wouldn't always agree with you. In fact, overwhelmingly, they would stick to their bad beliefs, But they would you could actually have a convo with them. Like, they would talk about immigration policy. Like, you could read a document on, like, what effects have been had, what has Trump's tax policy done for this or that. But it's not like that anymore. I haven't had those conversations in a long time. You all know that. I have a public stream. Public figures who support Trump don't act like that. They are too far gone. It's gone beyond that point. January 6th was the turning point. Now, when you disagree with a Trump supporter, they return immediately to thought-terminating cliches, screaming at you with, spit-frothed lips, or they laugh at you because they, as the fascist is, are willing to play with words, and they can't hold in their delight as they revel in your efforts to try to correct them as they dance between mutually exclusive points at their convenience. You all know I'm right, don't you? Am I not? You agree with me. You have to, because it's true. We've all seen it. They've always been wrong, but there used to be, in Trump supporters, a generally authentic set of beliefs, wrong as they were authentically held, that could be criticized, torn apart, if needed. But now that's just not the case. Now they are full-blown cultists. They have not taken their normal pills. They can hear anything from their betters and they will believe it. They are not interested in reconciling with empirical reality. And I will not see this country and this democracy torn apart because we are too weak to do something about it. Democracies aren't conditional. Democracy is non-negotiable. It is not a democracy until the fascists get dedicated enough. It is a democracy unerringly and eternally. Something has to be done about this. And it's not just going to be winning the election. You win an election, they'll keep talking about it. Right now, CNN is being pulled to the right. After a corporate buyout, they're trying to appeal more to conservatives and have immediately begun publishing articles of dubious quality and value in line with that ideological shift. As long as the right is aligned with corporate media, which they always will be, and corporations broadly to the extent that, they have the ability to affect political outcomes, the right, and by right I mean the fascists, will continue to have this prominence in our media and in our culture. Do we just sacrifice civilization on the altar of what? Abstemiousness? Of meekness? Do we just get to say, oh, well, human civilization as a concept was worthwhile, but I guess it's over now, People with money have decided to work with people who know how to build political cults, and now that they've managed to do that, it's really just a matter of time. We'll just let them win, There's nothing we can do. No, democracy is non-negotiable. These people have to go. Truly fantastic stuff. An existential threat to all of humanity, and anything that could be done to bar him and everyone like him from political power would be justified. The damage that could be done through these people maintaining power is essentially incalculable. Reminded now that we all are that fascists are in fact bad and very real. I want to cry. Reality is actually a parody. Yeah.